Okay, good evening. I'd like to call the North Aurora Village Board meeting for Monday, October 4th, 2021 to order. Please join me in silent prayer and meditation. Okay, thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. A roll call, please.
Back in business. Mayor Gaffino.
Here.
Trustee Curtis.
Here.
Trustee Lowry.
Here.
Trustee Nedved.
Here.
Trustee Salazar.
Here.
All right, thank you. Any audience comments? Okay, seeing none. Motion for, I'm sorry. Would you like to speak? Okay, just come on up to the podium, state your name and address and. Yeah, you can take
that. I can't hear you. Is that mic on?
No.
Here we go.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Megan with Mama's Kitchen of North Aurora, Illinois, 227 South Lincoln Way. As you guys know, we've been trying to get open for some months now, and we are just here to express where we may need help from the village in regards to getting open. One, there is a leak in the roof that is holding us up, which we presented to the city a plan when we first came to you all in regards to how we would operate business and how we would do business here in North Aurora. In presenting that, we've had some troubles. So there's a leak in the roof, that's one. Two, we are going for our gaming license. We are almost in the ending stages of getting our gaming license. This is something that will bring about change and revenue to our business. We haven't been able to really sustain and be open here in the location like most would require us. We've gotten a lot of, comments and statements indicating why aren't we open yet? Well, one, it's the roof. We failed our inspection because of the roof. The landlord has been in contact in regards to the city. We just got a letter literally 15 minutes before I walked into this meeting from the owners telling us that we need to get out because they haven't corrected an issue that has been ongoing with them since we moved into the building. But most of all, the gaming, if we were able to get open, the gaming would bring about a substantial amount of income for us to, one, afford the location, two, be able to just get going with the plan that we presented to the city of North Aurora. So I know that there is an eye in regards to how gaming should go. We've talked to the Mayor Gaffino in regards to it. We've talked to Mike Toth. We've talked to Natalie. We've just been trying to get an understanding. We were kind of given instruction backwards on how to do the process. We were given information on, to go about your liquor license first, to do all of this first. We did that. We followed rules. And unfortunately, it was really not in our favor for us to do that. We should have really probably gotten an inspection from the city first. We probably should have spoke with someone higher up in regards to the liquor license, but unfortunately we went ahead and we proceeded with the instructions that we were given. We presented a floor plan, the floor plan was approved, and we kind of just went with that information that we were proceeded. So we're really here in regards to maybe a variance or some type of grievance for us to just get open. I mean, your community is looking, our community is looking for something different here. And the plans that we had to bring our soul food, our cafe, and all of that other good stuff here, we are still looking forward to that. And it's kind of disheartening now to be told that we gotta go because of something, one, that the landlords is not fixing, and then two, for something else that could help us sustain in business, and that is gaming. Gaming is a big portion to a lot of restaurants right now that will help them keep going. So we hope that you guys would take a look at that, consider it. We don't plan to be some juke spot or anything like that. We plan to be very professional in regards to how we operate and do business here. We just want to bring something good for the community, and we're just hoping that you guys would possibly take a look at that. My family isn't here to support me tonight. My sister is stage 4 cancer. She's my business partner. But we're definitely looking to continue this legacy and bring something good to you guys. So I think your community is ready for us, and we hope that we can proceed. And thank you, Mayor, for having me tonight.
Thank you.
Can I get some feedback from staff? I mean, what's going on with the roof and the issues? I mean, is that something that we really get involved in? I mean, it sounds like it's a dispute between a landlord and a tenant.
Yeah, typically when we do inspections, we do them as part of a building permit process, a build out of some sort. I'm not sure if the leaky roof was just called out during our inspections of the facility itself. We don't do private building inspections, only as part of a building permit. I think that was one of the items that was ended up on the list of items that came up for the building. So I'm not quite sure where that's at with the property owner, but it would be between them at this point.
What is the holdup with the liquor license?
So our liquor code only allows video gaming at restaurants, taverns, and breweries if you meet the definition of a restaurant. Our definition of a restaurant requires that you have 75 seats when you open, and if you're a standalone building. In the case, the floor plan that was submitted to the village showed 75 seats, but it's my understanding that when the fire district went out there, they said the occupancy of the building is less than 75 people. So by our code, the way it's currently written, you have to wait 2 full years. You have to be in business for 2 full years before you can reopen with a minimum of 50 seats. The other issue that would come up too is the definition of a restaurant requires a full-time cook to be on premises in the building in a kitchen. And right now I think they're operating out of a food truck, which is not, probably doesn't meet the definition of a restaurant by our video gaming liquor license code.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
There's nothing the village can do to help these individuals establish their business. Is there anything we can do?
Yeah, the village board can change the liquor code. That would be the way to do that. You would have to change that because right now the code doesn't allow it.
But as it exists now, our hands are tied.
Correct. I mean, the liquor code is very specific on the number of seats and the number and the requirement. In fact, we've had multiple conversations over the years with the village board, and it was the village board who chose to put the restrictions in order to make sure that gaming parlors didn't just show up. Places that all you're doing is video gaming and having a frozen pizza cooked.
I've asked to have this on the agenda coming up in October. I think we're gonna try to talk.
We're going to
about
try to get it on
early
the agenda,
November.
if not October, first meeting of November. We're going to do a little research, see what other towns around us do, bring it back to the committee of the whole. The idea being that if the board would like to change the code, you can change the code, and then in which case it might benefit this restaurant to open. But as far as the building,
When the floor plan was submitted, did it have 75 seats?
Correct.
We approved it at 75.
correct.
So then the fire department went in and said, no, we can't do 75 in the space.
That's essentially correct, yes.
To me, that just seems there's a real problem with us approving something and then the fire department do kind of, switching it on them. So what is the disconnect between the village and the fire department?
I think the disconnect is that when they hand in a floor plan, it's basically a drawing of schematic of what they want to do with their business. When the fire district goes in there to make sure that it meets all the life safety codes, they assess the actual capacity of the building. And when we get it up front, all we see is what their floor plan is going to look like. We've never actually had that issue come up where someone submitted a floor plan and then we found out after the fact that the fire district says that the capacity is not, it's
We
too
have a
small.
system that works. I mean, we have rules. We've gone through this. We've established 75 seats. I agree. We don't want to have fly-by-night gaming parlors and food halls or, something that doesn't have a restaurant. But I can't see how we can expect people to come in good faith and want to set up a shop here if we can have one unit of government undercut the other unit of government. So I don't think we need to change our rules. I think 75 is a good rule, but is there some way we could have the fire department take another look at this, or just kind of, I just don't want this happening again.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the concern, I do, but the fire district, I mean, the space is only so big. So the fire district says you can only fit that many people in it. They're the ones who are then essentially going to probably take the liability of saying that they have now created an unsafe habitat if they allow more than the 53 or whatever the capacity was limited to, which I think it was 53. I mean, we have some small storefronts in town that really can't fit 75, which is why we actually have it in our code that if you're in business for 2 years, you can do 50 seats. One of the things that the mayor and I have spoken about recently is there's probably at least 1 or 2 instances where there's businesses that have been in business for 5, 10, 15 years that may never even reach the 50 seat minimum. The number of seats that was put into the liquor code was essentially an arbitrary number. It was a discussion over how many seats makes you more than just a parlor. And we had that conversation back and forth on what seemed to be a reasonable number. And correct me if I'm wrong, but most of our liquor code came from the city of Aurora as well, who'd had a very similar definition for restaurants. And the reason we had those discussions was we were getting a lot of businesses who were coming in and they were trying to disguise their video gaming parlors as restaurants. And they would come in with these fancy concepts and say, oh, we're not a gaming parlor, we're a restaurant. But then when we put the code in and said you had to have a full-time cook in a kitchen, it really changed things because all of a sudden, just like A's Cafe, which went through that violation process recently with the village, we determined that fried foods or frozen foods that are just being, put in a air fryer isn't really what the definition of a restaurant was. And now they have an actual running kitchen. So the truth is this is a conversation that the mayor wants to bring to the board. It's open for interpretation as far as how you want to change it, but it is a village board action that needs to occur in order to change the code.
Go to the microphone.
Up to the mic.
Go to the microphone.
Go to the microphone, Louis. We can't hear you well.
My recommendation would be for the city in the future, if this happens, because we've made a large investment into this building and it's disheartening. Me and my family are out of thousands of dollars. Not talking about rent, signs or anything, would be for if we present the floor plan, then you have the fire department come out first. And possibly the fire department can tell you what your seating or your capacity will be. This would have alleviated us getting a sign, because when Eric first came out, it would have alleviated us putting a floor in. It would have alleviated us putting walls and electrical sockets in. It would have alleviated a lot of money had the fire department come in first and just told us possibly what the seating capacity was. But when he came in, his words was, oh, I think 75 people will fit in here. But then when he came back with his little machine that did the detection of how many seats could really go in, it was no. Then he came back a second time. Oh, you can now get 58 if I did all of this. I personally believe as a business owner that if he would have did this up front, we would have known, and we possibly could have gotten out of the lease with the owners. We don't know. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a couple of comments that I think might be appropriate. Obviously,
we've had a lot of businesses who have inquired, who have walked away because of the 75-seat rule. They wouldn't have fit the definition. We obviously went through a liquor code violation process with A's Cafe over this very issue because they didn't have a full-time cook. And I don't know that the seat issue applied with A's Cafe, but it was more of, the full-time cook. So, we've been fairly consistent in applying those rules. There is one difference here, which is the fact that there was some indication that they would meet the definition. And then, there comes the determination from the fire department that they didn't. And so there's an element of reliance on their part on the initial assessment that they met the definition. So there is a difference there. But I'm just mentioning this because in terms of being consistent, I think we just have to be careful about being consistent. There is a possible exception here, perhaps, that might apply from the fact that there was reliance on an initial determination that they met the requirement. I think we may need to know more information, though, perhaps.
All right, thank you very much. Consent agenda?
Motion to approve. Second.
Clerk call the roll, please.
Trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar,
Yes.
trustee Curtis.
All right, thank you. Under new business, item 1, Steve.
All right, thank you very much. Item number 1 is a special event permit for Brother Chimp Brewing. Brother Chimp is looking to have a special event on October 9th. This is the microbrewery that is located off of Orchard near Randall Road. They would like to have the event from 6 to 10 p.m. It's kind of a weird issue because the only reason we're doing a special event request is because they have a liquor license that only allows for single acts and duos. They want to have a band at this event, and they are actually on the agenda tonight for the committee of the whole meeting to get a supplemental B license, which would be for larger events. But they didn't. This event came too early in the process for them to actually get their B first. So we're treating this as a special event permit, even though technically the only issue is that they just don't have the right liquor license. I mean, the event's going to be over by 10, which is the time of our noise ordinance. It's on their property. They're not using any village or public streets or anything like that. So it's really just because they're going to be operating outside of their liquor license.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Clerk call the roll, please.
Trustee Salazar,
Yes.
trustee Curtis,
Yes.
trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved.
Yes.
Item 2, Steve.
Thank you. Item number 2 is a special event for Sharing Care. That is the daycare that is on Route 31 by John Street. They have an annual Halloween parade. They like to use the little parking lot between Marlboro and John Street that the village owns. They block it off. They ask for an hour. The event's only 15 minutes. So they just block it off for 15 minutes. The police are aware of it and they let the kids go out there and they walk around and then they walk right back to the building.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar,
Yes.
trustee Curtis.
All right, thank you. Item 3, David.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and village trustees. The item is to approve a proposal submitted by Sentinel Technologies in the amount of $73,311.21 to migrate our current email exchange server and the village user email accounts to a cloud-based hosted email system and to upgrade our Active Directory to the most current release in order to support the new email server. The village's current email server is about 11 years old and is no longer supported by Microsoft. Village staff met with Microsoft and several consulting companies who recommended to migrate our server to a cloud-hosted system. The biggest push to migrate to a cloud-hosted system is the enhanced security, the real-time patching, and the regional independent redundancy it provides. Village staff released an RFP in late July, received 4 proposals. Of the 4 proposals, Sentinel Technologies scored the highest during staff review. Staff has had some previous positive experiences with Sentinel, plus the references had very good reviews for similar projects. Staff budgeted $75,000 for this project and anticipates if everything goes according to plan, we should be on the new email server by the holidays. Thank you.
Motion to approve. Second.
Discussion? Clerk call the roll, please.
Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
Trustee Lowry?
Yes.
Trustee Nedved?
Yes.
Trustee Salazar?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Item 4, Mike.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Item number 4 is an ordinance approving a special use for a motor vehicle sales and service establishment in the B2 district for the property located at 204 Hanson Boulevard. As the board is well known already through the incentive discussion that Gerald, Hyundai, and Genesis have been operating at 209 Hanson Boulevard. They're looking to pull the Genesis dealership out and move it to the 204 property. The property's basically been used as a car dealership since 1995 when it was first a Saturn dealership. But being in the B2 district and the fact that it has not been used since 2016, and when it was last Kia, which had since moved to 201 Hanson Boulevard, the zoning basically has lapsed at this point. So we're basically just doing the special use right now to give them the zoning right to go back on the property and sell cars. The addition and the expansion plans, which were discussed originally with the incentive itself, does not constitute a addition greater than 25% of the building. So therefore, no site plan approval is not really needed at this point in time. So it's just the zoning allowing them to operate the Genesis dealership on the property of 204 Hanson Boulevard.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Clerk call the roll, please.
Trustee Lowry?
Yes.
Trustee Nedved?
Yes.
Trustee Salazar?
Yes.
Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
All right, thanks. Item 6, John.
Thank you, Mayor. If I had to ask everybody how many bridges we have in You town. need item number 5.
Oh, I'm sorry. Item 5.
Yeah, real quick. Item number 5 is an ordinance approving an economic incentive agreement for the Gerald Genesis dealership located at 204 Hanson Boulevard. This is to assist them with the build out and expansion of the property. The concept itself was first discussed by the committee of the whole on August 16th, and a draft of the agreement was brought to the COW on September 20th for discussion. So right now, we're just bringing the same agreement back that was discussed at the last COW meeting for final approval.
Motion to approve. Second.
Discussion? Clerk call the roll, please.
Trustee Nedved?
Yes.
Trustee Salazar?
Yes.
Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
Trustee Lowry?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Item 6, John.
Thank you, Mayor. If I asked the village board how many bridges we were responsible for in town, I don't know how many you would guess, but I would have guessed 1 at the time. And I've learned that we actually have 2 bridges in town. The one that you're probably most familiar with might be on Oak Street, the pedestrian bridge over by the Walgreens. And it basically just goes over a small creek bed. The second one we discovered while we were doing the design for Orchard Gateway, and it's more of a bridge by definition than an actual bridge itself. But there's 4 box culverts beneath Orchard Gateway that convey water from basically Sherwin-Williams over to the car dealership. And when we were doing the design for the reconstruction of Orchard Gateway, we realized that this is actually, by definition, by the federal standards, an actual bridge. So once a structure that conveys traffic is defined as a bridge, we are required to do certain inspections of that structure just to make sure that it's in good condition every 2 to 4 years. And it's determined by the Illinois Department of Transportation what schedule and frequency those inspections occur. Now that we discovered as part of this design that we do have that box culvert bridge in town, we're going to begin performing inspections on that one and get a report on that. The pedestrian bridge doesn't necessarily qualify to be registered under the federal standards, but we figured we'd just like to try to get an initial understanding of what condition that bridge is in anyway. So this agreement then is with Alfred Benich and Associates, an engineering firm that's had experience doing these inspections in other towns around the area. And the agreement is in the amount of $27,656.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Clerk call the roll, please.
Trustee Salazar?
Yes.
Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
Trustee Lowry?
Yes.
Trustee Nedved,
Yes.
All right, thank you. Under village president report, I have two planning commission people I'd like to appoint tonight. Alexander Negro and Richard Newell. In front of you is some of their info, if you want to take a look. But, it'd be a good fit for the planning commission.
The appointments are with the advice and consent of the board, so the board simply
All in
needs
favor?
to rubber stamp it unless you disagree with the appointments.
Is that in form of a motion or?
A motion to give consent to the
Okay,
to the appointments.
I move we give it consent to the mayor's choice for the planning commission.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, thank you. Trustee comments? Administrator report.
No report tonight, thank you.
Village departments. All right, thank you. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. We'll meeting shortly for the cow.